Hiya. So it's me again, and today it is sad that I have to announce that totems only have 2.5 weeks left to live. So after December 16th, totems will no longer be available in Maplestory. So that means that all players are going to have to be farming without totems to level up. But for all of my Cannoneer players, worry not. This video is especially for you guys or for any new Cannoneer players who are thinking about playing Cannoneer, because this is the complete guide on how to farm on Cannoneer off totem. Level 200 to level 300, every single thing that you need to know, Nodestones and abilities that you want to take, the XP drop per mob, rotations and alternate rotations on how to kill on specific maps, and expected kill speeds for the maps in question. So I'm going to keep the intro short. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally eat your mesos faster than Star Forcing does. There is a lot of disclaimers and a lot of things that I need to talk about before we actually get into the maps, so stay tuned. So I actually have gone out of my way to retest a lot of the maps from the beginning regions all the way to the end regions of the game, starting from Vanishing Journey all the way to Hotel Arcus, just to see what maps are the best, and I think I've hit the nail on the head for most of the regions. But if you guys do have suggestions and if you have discovered rates that are better for Cannoneer, please feel free to leave a comment down below. This is a discussion to help Cannoneers find the best rates that they can farm off totem. Now, a lot of the testing done in this video, or all of the testing done on this video, was done on my main. So all of the maps all the way up until Cernium are at their highest potential because I do way more damage than what is expected of those regions. So I will be including expected kill speeds depending on your level of strength for each region. I also did this entire video pretty much on 2 attack speed rather than 0. So if you use Monster Park Green Potion, decent speed infusion, and if you have +1 attack speed on your inner ability, then your rates will become a lot more consistent because you'll have a lot more time to move around and a lot less time being stuck in animations. Also, for level 235 regions and below, I will not be using Will Skill for obvious reasons because you don't have that ability unlocked. And all of the rotations in this video will assume that you are at least one-shotting with Cannon Bazooka. There's only one exception or 2 exceptions to this, that being Hidden Lakeshore and Hidden Research Train. This is because these 2 maps are way stronger than all of the other maps in their region, so you are just expected to have lower kill speeds. But yeah, that'll be it for all of the disclaimers. Let's get to the actual information of the video, shall we? So before we get to the actual farming, I think it's best to actually understand what 5th job skills and abilities that you actually want to be using so that you know how to use them within rotations. So starting with the boost nodes, obviously the most important ability and the entirety of Cannoneer's identity in terms of its mobbing is Cannon Bazooka. Extremely long hitbox. This is the most important thing that you want to boost if you want to mob as well as possible, because one-shotting with Bazooka pretty much ensures that your entire rotation comes together. Next, Monkey Militia. Monkey Militia is Cannoneer's staple deployable. There is no animation lag when you actually deploy Monkey Militia, and it lasts for 70 seconds with pretty much no cooldown. So Monkey Militia is seriously a good ability to have, or a good boost node to invest into. Rolling Rainbow is also quite nice. The reason why I say Rolling Rainbow is while yes, it does have very high base damage, you still do want to invest into it. Because there is a lot of times where you will deploy Rolling Rainbow and it won't kill off the first tick. So sometimes you will miss spawns if you do deploy Rolling Rainbow a little late. So it's best to just ensure that it one-shots. Next up is Anchor. Anchor pretty much is just Monkey Militia, but worse. There is a lot of animation lag when you first use it, and it ticks a lot less often, but it still does relatively good damage and is good for mobbing. And finally, last but most certainly not least, is Monkey Fury or Monkey Mortar. Monkey Fury and Monkey Mortar, sorry. Both of these abilities are fairly helpful. Monkey Mortar basically is Cannoneer's final attack, so if you do miss any slippery mobs that are a little small or if they move a little fast, then Monkey Mortar pretty much ensures that you do hit the remaining mobs that were missed. And Monkey Fury basically is Cannon Bazooka, but a lot longer range, assuming that you actually do have the damage to one-shot with Monkey Fury. The good thing about the boost nodes in terms of Cannoneer's mobbing is that all of the mobbing nodes for Cannoneer are also used in bossing. So you don't have to go out of your way to achieve the best mobbing nodes for bossing as well. Next up, all of your 5th job skills are useful, so make sure that you have all of your 5th job skills assigned, because the 5th job skills pretty much creates the Cannoneer's rotation around Cannon Bazooka. Other auxiliary nodes to invest in are Dice, Urda Fountain, and Will Skill. Will Skill basically increases the duration of the deployable as you level it up, and it does more damage. Dice gives you more attack as you level it up, which is obviously a nice to have when farming. And Urda Fountain shares the same properties as Will Skill in the sense that its damage goes up as you level the node up. And other auxiliary nodes just to have, you don't necessarily need to level these ones up, but they are nice to have when farming, are Rope Lift and Decent Speed Infusion. So yeah, that's it for Cannoneer's nodes. Let's get into the maps, shall we? So, starting right from the beginning, you will be going to the Weathered Land of Sorrow, where you will be fighting Sad Urdas. They are level 202. They have roughly 100 million HP, and they give roughly 240,000 XP. Now, I'll have the exact values for the HP and XP in the top right. If you guys didn't know, when you are within one level of the mob in question, you actually get a 20% base XP boost. This works with all XP multipliers. So, for example, if the mob in question is level 202, and you are between level 201 and 203, you will actually get 20% on top of 240,000 XP added to that. So I will also be putting that value highlighted in green in the top right. Now, this rotation is fairly simple, and you do want to have Rope Lift for this rotation. So you want your monkeys in the top left of the map. You want your anchor under the monkeys, and you want the bullet bill covering the bottom 2 platforms of the left side of the map. So for the right side, this is where you're going to want to use Rope Lift. You Rope Lift to the top of the map and down jump as you go along, spamming Cannon Bazooka to clear the platforms under the top right. Now make sure when you get to the bottom of the map to replenish Bullet Bill every time it is off screen. And make sure to keep either Pool Maker or Monkey Business up when you are replacing your deployables like Monkey Militia and Anchor. The rotation is fairly simple. Just make sure that you are keeping up your ammo with your bullet bills. So either have Pool Maker or Rolling Rainbow to cover the bottom left side of the map when you are out of bullet bills or when you are running out of bullet bills. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Sad Urdas. This is like the intro map, assuming that you are slightly weak and you are just getting into this the game. You want to be using this map until level 205. So the next maps are just going to be alternatives to get to 205 in a faster fashion for stronger players. And the next option is Below the Cave, where you will be fighting Tranquil and Lantern Urda. Tranquil Urda are level 207. They have roughly 115 million HP. and they give roughly 270,000 XP. Lantern Urdas have roughly the same stat, but they are level 208. Now, the rotation for this map, there's pretty much no rotation. You just have your deployables on the left, use your bullet bill on the middle of the two platforms, on the two middle platforms, because the hitbox for bullet bill is a little thick. And you just want a bazooka left and right as you go along. As you run out of bazookas, make sure that you have Pool Maker, Rolling Rainbow, or Monkey Business to cover when you are out of ammo. Nothing really much to say about this map. It is quite a level difference, so that's why I'm saying you do have to be quite a bit stronger, but you can expect higher kill speeds than in the Sad Urda map just because of the higher base spawn, and when you do kill a Tranquil Urda, it spawns a Lantern Urda. So you can expect roughly around 6 to 11,000 kills here, depending on your strength. If you aren't satisfied with Below the Cave, there is another alternative in Vanishing Journey, assuming that you aren't crazy strong. Going to Arma's Hideout and fighting Arma's followers is another option. They are level 209. They have roughly 120 million HP, and they give roughly 285,000 XP. The rotation for this one is fairly simple. You don't need Rope Lift or Fountain or any auxiliary node for this map in particular. You kind of just throw bullets along the top and Cannon Bazooka along the bottom. There's 4 layers of platforms, but the thing is that you can easily double plat in this map. So it's fairly simple. The kill speed is higher than Below the Cave. I would say about 1 or 2,000 roughly. And the kill speed in this map is also just a lot more consistent because you don't have to rely on deployables getting kills for you. So if you can one-shot with Bazooka and if you can one-shot with Bullet, then this map is probably better than the latter. But it is harder to one-shot in this map because these mobs are a higher level and the Arcane Force requirement here is quite a bit higher than Below the Cave as well. So starting at level 205, there's actually one map in Vanishing Journey that is viable all the way until 210, and that is Hidden Lakeshore, where you will be fighting Joyful Urdas. They are level 209. They have roughly 200 million HP, and they give roughly 475,000 XP. Now, these are the augmented versions of Joyful Urdas, so they are more powerful than the normal ones. This map has the same Arcane Force requirement as the previous map at 80, and these also do have double the health of normal Vanishing Journey mobs. But if you can take down these mobs, then these mobs will give you significantly more XP than any of the other maps. And this map actually has a higher kill speed than the next map in question, but this map is a little more awkward. There's no real rotation for this map because there's just platforms everywhere. You just put monkeys on the right, anchor on the left, and just throw your bullets along the middle and hope they hit as much as possible. You can 2-plat in this map with bullet, so you do want to throw those at the top platforms and then keep yourself grounded in this map. So there's realistically only one map that I can suggest in Reverse City. A lot of the maps are really weak, assuming that the mobs aren't augmented, or we're not talking about the Exterminator maps because those maps are extremely ugly. And this map is Hidden Research Train. You're going to be fighting Seeker T-Drone Model A's and B's, the strong version of them. They have roughly 200 million HP and they give roughly 570,000 XP. Now, these mobs have around the same health as the mobs stated beforehand, but they give an extra 100,000 XP on top of the mobs that were listed beforehand. Now, the kill speed in this map is very, very slow, but even if you do get around 5,000 to 7,000 kills in this map is very, very solid in terms of its XP, literally just because these mobs give so much XP. And the rotation is fairly simple. Just have your monkeys on the top right and have the bullets scale along with them to the left side of the map. You could also do this inversely, where you send the bullets to the right, Either works. As long as you stay at the bottom, you can hit the bottom 2 layers of platforms in this map. But yeah, don't expect to one-shot in this map and Hidden Lakeshore. That is why I previously mentioned in the disclaimers, because these maps, the mobs are very, very strong for this tier. A lot of new players might even find themselves 5 or 6 shotting these mobs. But because Bullet Bill is so powerful in the sense for mobbing, because it does pretty much infinite amounts of damage for as long as it's touching the mob, you'll still be able to produce relatively good kill speeds. That's why I think that this map is genuinely very solid until level 210. So, congratulations on level 210 and making your way to Choo Choo Island. Once you have unlocked Choo Choo and finished all of its pre-quests, there is one map that stands out far above the rest, and that is Mottled Forest 2, where you'll be fighting Iwananas, I don't know how to pronounce it. They're level 210. They have roughly 210 million HP, and they give roughly 570,000 XP. Now, the XP rates in this map and the kill rates in this map far exceed what you will expect in Vanishing Journey. Expect around 12 to 15,000 kills an hour here. It is very, very solid, and the rotation isn't necessarily anything complicated either. You will need rope lift for this map in order for this map to be as comfortable as possible. And essentially it consists of having your monkey and anchor on the right side, you rope lifting on the left, and sending your bullets along the bottom to clear the bottom right. So essentially the bottom 2 layers of the right side are cleared by bullets, and you cover the entirety of the left. Now, once again, just like all other maps, you're continuing the same pattern. When you run out of ammo, just make sure that you have something covering instead of the bullets, whether it be Rolling Rainbow, whether it be Pool Maker, or whether it be Monkey Business. Now, when it does come to Mottled Forest 2, it's a little more of a longer map, so when you don't have bullets, you need to move left and right at the bottom a little bit to make sure that you cover the whole map. But when you have bullets out, just make sure to send them in a consistent string so that they do take out all of the mobs as they move along the map. That's pretty much it. This is hands down the best map in Choo Choo Island. There are some alternatives if it does get busy. So the runner-up in Choo Choo Island is Dealie-Bobber Forest 1, where you will be fighting ripe and unripe wolfroots. The unripe wolfroot is level 212, and the ripe wolfroot is level 213. They both have roughly 230 million HP, and they both give roughly 600,000 XP. Now, this map can produce similar kill speeds to what I just discussed, Mottled Forest 2, but the issue with this map is that its layout is a lot more awkward, and you have to think a lot more to actually clear this map. This map is very long, and the spawn isn't as great as Mottled Forest 2, so you'll notice that you're missing a lot more spawns. But if you do take the time and effort to actually, move along this map and move around this map, you can produce similar kill speeds. Also, the issue with this map is that the mobs here are higher level, so when you initially enter Choo Choo, you might not be doing as much damage as you would like to be doing because you are losing around 10 to 15% damage due to the level difference. But I can suggest this map for if you are level 212, 213 for the base XP boost over Mottled Forest 2 because those mobs are level 210, whereas these guys are level 212 or 213. And the rotation is fairly simple. Just have your deployables on the right. Rope lift is nice to have in this map. You can rope lift in the middle and just rope lift up and down. Rope lift is only a nice to have. You can still clear this map more than comfortably with just cannon jump. But you will need to jump every time after you use cannon jump to actually clear the top 2 layers of platforms before moving to the bottom 2 layers. But yeah, do not neglect this map. This is still a very good map, especially if Mottled Forest 2 starts to get really busy. So moving on to Yum Yum Island, there's only one real map that I can suggest of the normal maps, and that is Illiard Field 2, where you fight Lightones and Stone Peas. Light Tones are level 217, and Stone Peas are level 218. They both have roughly 260 million HP, and they both give roughly 670,000 XP. Now, the only reason why I can suggest this map is because of A, the level difference, or B, the burning that might exist on this map. Because the kill speed in Yum Yum is very awful in comparison to Choo Choo. The most kill speed that you can expect from these maps is around 9 to 10,000, whereas in Choo Choo you can expect 12 to 15,000, pretty much double the kill speed. One thing that is good about Yum Yum though is a lot of your kills come from Monkey Bazooka and Bullet Bill, so you don't need a lot of damage to actually print somewhat good rates in these maps. But the cap on these maps is very, very low. The rotation in the map is obviously very simple, as you could expect from the abilities that you need in order to clear the majority of this map. So monkeys at the top platform, Anchor to the left of those monkeys, Bullet Bill down the middle where you can double plat in between the two platforms, and you just bazooka along the ground floor of this map. Now, while the normal maps of Yum Yum aren't the greatest, I do need to talk about the augmented maps. All of the augmented maps are good in Yum Yum Island. There's not a single one that's bad for Cannoneer. So it's up to you, pick your poison if you will, or lack thereof, because these maps are just awesome. Either it be Hidden Illiard Field, Hidden Fungus Forest, or Hidden Mushbutt Forest. All three are good, but personally I would like to suggest Hidden Illiard Field, just because it's the most comfortable for Cannoneer. And it's also the most consistent, because a lot of your kills, or 90% of your kills in these maps, come from Bullet Bills or Cannon Bazooka. So it's 3 platforms, Bullet Bill, 2 platting along the top, and you clear the ground floor with Cannon Bazooka. Even if you don't one-shot in this map can still print pretty good kill speeds. Expect to see around 10 to 12,000. The range is actually very small for this map. But yeah. Rotation, same as always, just make sure to replenish your bullets by covering with other things. So that's why you can lose some kills, assuming if you're a little weaker. But this map is very good. You're going to be fighting Potent Light Tones, they're level 220. They have roughly 280 million HP, and they give roughly 710,000 XP. Now, the Arcane Force requirement is higher in this map, and they are a little tankier than the usual mobs, but if you can do a good enough amount of damage, I highly suggest this map to get to level 220. Once you hit level 220 and show Lucid a fraction of your real power, Yum Yum Island instantaneously becomes garbage. It's awful. Because in comparison to Lachlan, the kill speeds that you get at Yum Yum are just so much worse. And the hands-down winner for Cannoneer is Chicken Festival 2, where you'll be fighting Galluses and Galenas. Galenas are level 221, Galluses are level 222. They both have roughly 290 million HP, and they both give roughly 730,000 XP. Now, in comparison to Yum Yum, this map can pretty much double its kill speed with comfort. With comfort. This map is so busted. I'm also going to be making the assumption that from this point on, you're going to be using Erda Fountain, so a lot of these rotations that you see from this point forward will use Erda Fountain. So essentially what you do, you Erda Fountain left, Monkey Militia right, Anchor under Monkey Militia, and basically you just stay on the ground floor using Cannon Bazooka. It's also nice to jump in the middle and make sure that a bullet is covering the middle of the middle platform. That's a lot of middles, but yeah, so you just want to make sure that that little middle portion of that middle platform is covered by some form of deployable, whether it be Poolmaker, whether it be Monkey Business, or Bullet Bill. But yeah, this map is hands down the best for Cannoneer, and it's a super comfortable rotation. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this map. Sometimes you'll even see it with Burning 3 or Burning 5 or any form of burning, which is really good. So for anybody who's struggling to actually one-shot in that map or building up the Arcane Force to actually do damage in that map, I do have another alternative. And what is a leveling showcase without Outlaw Street 2? Everybody's favorite. It's no surprise that Outlaw Street 2 is also just busted for Cannoneer. You're going to be fighting Paper Bag Alley Citizens and Woodboard Alley Citizens. The Paper Bags are level 220, the Woodboards are level 221. They both have roughly 285 million HP apiece, and they both give roughly 715,000 XP apiece. Rotation here, very easy. So Fountain on the right, the bottom platform won't be covered by Fountain. At the top left, you want to be putting monkeys. Above that middle platform that just sticks out, you put your anchor there. Bullet along that long middle platform, and then just bazooka along the ground floor, and you should be able to hit everything. This map, just like Chicken Festival 3, it's pretty easy, but the rotation is a little more dumbed down, and the requirements to actually get the maximum amount of kills here is also dumbed down. This map makes slightly worse rates than Chicken Festival 3. You'll probably only see a max of 16 to 17,000 kills here, with a minimum of like 13 to 12,000, assuming that you do a reasonable amount of damage. But yeah, this map is pretty good still, and one of the classics. But one thing is that you won't find any burning here. Another alternative to Outlaw Street 2 and Chicken Festival 3 is Victory Plate Street 1 or 2. It's up to you. Both of those maps are pretty good. They produce pretty much the same thing, and the rotations look the exact same. Where you will be fighting angry victory plates or crooked victory plates. They have literally the exact same stats as the Galluses and Galena, so I'm just going to slap them over there. The rotations, once again, still fairly the same. Urda Shower near the top. Pretty much all of your deployables at the top, and you just jump along the bottom. This is just another alternative for if the other two maps are full, or if you do happen to see burning in this map. There's nothing really interesting about this map. It doesn't produce any more kill speeds. If anything, it produces a little less. But assuming that you can pull more XP from this map does have a shot at comparing with the other two maps. So my final alternative for Lachlan is actually a weird one, and it's mostly based off of the fact that a lot of people would want the base XP boost at this kind of level. And it's actually at the Nightmare Clocktower 5th floor, where you fight Blue-Eyed and Red-Eyed Gargoyles. They have 330 million HP a pop, and they give roughly 820,000 XP. The rotation here is just like Copper Drakes, but a lot taller. So essentially you just put your fountain where I'm putting it in the video. I don't know how to explain it. There's like 80 floors on these maps. And then monkeys near the bottom, and then you take that platform or that portal on the bottom right to go to the top, use bullets at the top, and just drop down like it's a Copper Drakes map. This map, you'll probably see like only 14 to 15,000 kills max, which is worse than the other two. But if you are dealing with base XP boosts, you actually get a lot more base XP from these mobs in comparison to the ones that came beforehand. So while this isn't the best for kill rates and drop rates, it actually does make a solid amount of XP. So yeah, my weird suggestion for the video, at least in terms of Lachlan, this map kind of slaps, and it can kind of put you to sleep as well. You can literally farm on this map with one hand. Yeah, I would say this is kind of a W map. But that's pretty much it for Lachlan. We're probably going to be getting into the Arcana maps now. So the first map in Arcana is actually quite a good one. And in Arcana, because there's such a difference between each of these sub-regions in Arcana, I will be treating each sub-region as its own region. But yeah, the first map in Arcana is where sunlight and water meet, where you're going to be fighting water spirits and sun spirits. Water spirits are level 230, sun spirits are level 231. They both have roughly around 360 million HP, and they both give around 920,000 XP. Now, this map, it just lays itself out for you. Any deployable at the top platform, and you just bazooka along the bottom. Now, obviously, you do want to have deployables covering the bottom as you go to replace the top, because there is a very, very large gap in between. Now, note, there is a portal at the bottom right, and the bottom right portal will take you to the top in a very fast manner. So when you are rotating back to the top, make sure to take that portal from the bottom right, because it's much faster than actually having to cannon jump or rope lift back up. Obviously, having Fountain makes your life a lot easier in this map, but you actually can do it without Fountain. So you can replace one of the platforms with bullets instead of fountains if you don't want to use Fountain. But yeah, this map gets you around 15,000 kills. This map is pretty solid and fairly consistent. And it's honestly comparable to a lot of the maps that come later into this region. So definitely, if you're not one-shotting in the other regions, this map is good enough. Especially if you have base XP boost, definitely use this map, it's great. Next up, in the following sub-region of Arcana, we have the Volatile and Toxic Forest 2. This map is extremely peculiar. Its layout is not even favorable for Cannoneer, but Fountain is really strong in this map. So that's why this map becomes somewhat viable. You can get around 15,000 kills, which is good enough, assuming that you do have base XP boost. So in this map, you fight Toxic Spirits and Volatile Spirits, obviously. They both have roughly 400 million HP, and they both give roughly 1 million XP. The rotation here, just put Fountain on the right, and it covers the two platforms that are very annoying to reach, and Anchor at the bottom right. And all you have to deal with is the left, where you can put Monkeys top left, that covers the entire top left platform, and you just have to deal with the center of the map. This map is extremely massive, and its spawns are, you know, pretty bad for how large the map is. But the fact that Cannoneer can cover it all still makes this map remotely okay. But personally, I think where Sunlight and Water meet is just a much more comfortable map. Once again, I'd only come here if there's a very high burning stage, or if there's base XP boost in the favor of this map. So the last map in the roster for the Arcana home team is Deep in the Cavern Upper Path 1, where you'll be fighting Anguish Spirits and Befuddled Spirits. Befuddled Spirits are level 237, Anguish Spirits are level 238. They both have roughly 420 million HP, and they both give roughly 1,030,000 XP. Now, this map is kind of just like where Sunlight and Water meet, but worse, because there's gaps in the bottom platform, and this map is a little longer, so it's kind of awkward to traverse in some regards. But it does produce similar kill speed. You can still get around 15,000 kills an hour at maximum potential. The map just lays itself out for you exactly like the other map. You want your deployables along the top, so Monkey at the top left, Fountain in the top middle, and then Anchor at the top right. It's best to actually have Fountain in the top middle platform of this map, because ideally you are, you know, crossing in between the middle a lot of the time, and you want to replace Fountain as soon as possible. Mainly because of the animation lag. The animation lag can really get in the way of your rotations in this map. And where Water and Sunlight meet, it's a lot less of an issue. But here, I think it's actually very important to make sure that Fountain gets replaced as soon as possible. And realistically, you can't do the same thing with Anchor, because that means they have to move to the extreme ends of the middle platform, which makes it a lot more awkward to move around this map. So that's why ideally you keep Anchor right and Fountain in the middle. You can bazooka along the bottom and nuke the bottom left or bottom right platforms if you don't want to cover it for a short amount of time. But yeah, after Arcana, it actually really starts to ramp up for Cannoneers. So definitely be excited about Morass when you unlock it. So when it comes to Morass, the first sub-region in Morass is really, really awful, so I'm just going to skip it in general. The maps are just way, way too large, and there's just an infinite amount of platforms. It's impossible to really cover these maps. So I'm going to go to the first map that actually is good for Cannoneer in Morass, and that is Boulevard 3, where you're going to be fighting strong and powerful gangsters. They're both level 238. They both have roughly 430 million HP, and they both give roughly 1,050,000 XP. The kill speed in this map actually is slightly higher than Arcana, so if you can one-shot and do a lot of damage here, I suggest this map over Arcana. You can see roughly around 16, and if you do keep your rotation in check, 17,000 kills per hour. But yeah, this map is great. It does take a little more thinking, a little more brain power to actually clear this map consistently, because it does require you to use your bullets. So the rotation for this map is monkeys at the top left, or sorry, anchor at the top left, monkeys at the top right, Urda shower in the middle left platforms, the left side of the middle left platforms, and then you use bullet to cover the rest of the middle platform, and you just move along the bottom and bazooka at the bottom. Now, one thing that's really weird about this map is the entire floor doesn't spawn mobs, so you don't need to go all the way to the right and all the way to the left to actually clear the floor of mobs, which is very, very weird. This map definitely had space for a lot more mobs, and they just said, no, we're not putting any more. So that's why the kill speed is capped at 17,000, and it probably won't go higher than that. But this map is great, especially if you have base XP boost. Now, the next map I am very, very, very excited to share. You can use this map pretty much all the way until level 250 if you want. This map is broken. Broken. Abandoned Area 3, where you fight big experiments gone wrong. These guys are level 241. They have roughly 570 million HP, and they give roughly 1.1 million XP. Now, these mobs in terms of Bully Boulevard are much stronger, but if you actually can do the damage here, this map can scale you all the way into the 250s. So even if you can't one-shot here immediately as soon as you hit 230 or even 235, this map is great for when you hit 240 and beyond. This map can get you 18 to 20,000 kills an hour, depending on how well you rotate this map. This map is ridiculous. There are just mobs everywhere. Actually everywhere. So the rotation for this map is very, very peculiar, and that's why I'm saying you do need to be remotely strong to actually make this work. But if you can make this work, then this map is downright incredible. So the anchor goes on the left. The Urda Fountain goes on the top middle right platform. I don't know how to explain it. I'll let the video do the talking here. And then you put monkeys at the top two platforms to ensure that it hits both platforms. You have to put it at the left of the top right platform. You bullet bill down the center of the map, and you bazooka along the bottom, the floor of the map. And you pretty much can kill every single mob. You can see in my 2-minute battle analysis, I killed over 600 mobs. This map is ridiculous. And yeah, I highly recommend it, especially if you have base XP boost. Definitely use this map. This map is broken. So, because the big experiments gone wrong clearly did something right, I am not recommending any more maps in Morass. That map is busted. Just use that map all the way until Asphera or wherever you're going. So the only map that I actually have in Asphera to recommend is the Mirror Touch C6, where you fight Keepers of Light and Keepers of Darkness. Keepers of Light are level 246. Keepers of Darkness are level 247. They both have roughly 630 million HP a pop, and they both give roughly 1.2 million XP per pop. So now, the reason why I can suggest this map is because Urda Fountain is absolutely broken. So only use this map if your Urda Fountain is actually clearing remotely well. because Urda Fountain can clear the top right of this map by itself. So if you put Urda Fountain at the middle platform at the top right of those 3 platforms that are sandwiched together, it'll pretty much clear all 3 platforms. The hitbox actually is big enough. You can put monkeys under it and anchor below that. You don't have to put anchor at the bottom floor if you don't want to, because all you have to do is rope lift on the left and then jump down twice for 2 platforms, and you have space to actually clear the bottom platform after you're done. So if you are a little weak, you don't need to put anchor at the bottom right. But yeah, this map is pretty standard. 15,000 kills an hour. Once again, only suggesting it for the burning stage and for the base XP boost. Just so that people have more options. Exploring maps just in case one is full, or they're not comfortable with a map's specific rotation. Esfera clearly isn't the end of the road for Cannoneer, so we have to keep moving the ball forward. In Celas, once again, I only have one recommendation for a map, because this map is way stronger than the other maps. It's not even close. Plunging Depths 3. This map is busted. You'll be fighting level 248 high 80s. They have 650 million HP, and they give 1.25 million XP. The rotation for this one is really easy. I suggest that you do take Fountain and Rope Lift for this map, and expect to see roughly around 18,000 kills. So you can basically put all of your deployables along the right sides. Monkeys top right, Anchor under it, or I think it's the inverse, sorry. And then Fountain right at the bottom right. And you can rope lift on the left side and just down jump and treat it as a Copper Drakes map. Just like any other map, you just down jump and bazooka as you go along. You also can inverse this rotation, so you can put all of your deployables left and they will clear a lot of the left side. But personally, I do like bazooking on the left side because it is a lot more consistent in terms of its kill speed. But it is an option if you do want a lazier rotation. You can put your deployables on the left and rope lift on the right. I'll probably have like a visual of where you should be rope lifting if you do want to inverse the rotation on this map. This map is very strong. Definitely use this if you are one-shotting, if you are doing remotely good amounts of damage. This map can take you to 250, maybe even 255. But personally, I would suggest staying away from this map beyond 255 because of the importance of familiars. But yeah, this map is great. Definitely utilize this map. So the reason why it's actually hard for me to suggest Plunging Depths 3 past 245 is because Cannoneer has maps like Mysterious Fog 3. This shit is stupid. Like, I'm just gonna say it. You're gonna be fighting Suit Slugs and Suit Cores. Suit Slugs are level 252, Suit Cores are level 253. They both have roughly around 780 million HP, and they both give roughly around 1.4 million XP. Now, this map's rotation is also just very, very easy. You don't even need Rope Lift, and Fountain isn't even necessary for this map either. Pretty much what you do, just a firing line of deployables along the top. So you put Monkey Militia top left, and then Anchor top right. You can put Fountain on the middle left, the far middle left. Bazookas along the bottom. You can 2-plat in this map, so Bazooka is really, really good for this map. And you Bullet Bill along the middle 2 platforms, and everything is covered. This map can give you 18,000 kills an hour, so the kill speed is better than Plunging Depths 3. The XP per mob is better, and you get familiar cards for killing these mobs. So this map, if you can one-shot and you can, produce the maximum kill speed in this map, is just completely better than Plunging Depths 3. This map is amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. This could pretty much get you all the way to 255 because you will have base XP boost on at least one of the 2 mobs until 254, going to 255. This map is great. So if you can't find any other maps, this is definitely a W map. And this map will probably have burning because nobody knows about it. So yeah, definitely look forward to this one when you hit 245. So there is actually one main alternative to Mysterious Fog 3, and it can produce similar kill speeds, given that you can sweat so much that you flood your entire basement. That is Void Current 2, where you'll be fighting Burst Glares. Burst Glares are level 254. They have roughly 800 million HP, and they give roughly 1.4 million XP. Now, this map is very long. It's very, very, very long. You pretty much need to use Cannoneer's kit, if you will, to its maximum ability. This map is just very hard to cover. You can see even in my rotation, I was just straight up missing a lot of mobs. And even then, I was producing similar kill speeds to Mysterious Fog 3. Now, once again, this is only a map I suggest for burning and, you know, base XP purposes. This one can get you base XP at 255. So if you don't want to farm in Limina or Labyrinth respectively, this actually still can give you base XP boost. But it's fairly simple. It's just hard to execute because there's so much distance to cover. So monkeys at the top right, and just continue along the top platforms, moving all of your deployables along the way. You bullet at the top left, going top right, and that should cover at least 3 or 4 platforms by itself. And then you bazooka along the bottom. Now you can nuke the bottom right if you do want the distance covered to be a lot less, so that you can replace your bullets. Because replacing that bullet will be a pain in the ass if you have to cover the whole distance at the bottom. Now, once again, this rotation actually was done on 2 attack speed, so I do reckon that this map will be a little different on 0 attack speed. You might be able to produce higher kill speeds than what was shown here. I was getting around 16,000, but you can definitely get up to 18,000, given that you try hard enough and if you're on 0 attack speed. But yeah, this map is pretty good as well. Don't look down on this one. It's an underdog. So moving on to Labyrinth. Labyrinth does have a lot of weird layouts. So I've actually included quite a few options here, also depending on burning and base XP boost, pick your poison kind of deal. So the first map that I actually have listed here is Labyrinth of Suffering Core 4, where you'll be fighting Silent Knights, Silent Rogues, and Silent Scouts. They all have the same stats. They're all level 258. They all have 860 million HP, roughly. And they all give roughly 1.5 million XP. Now, this map is very, very strong, given that you actually want to put in the effort to farm this map. Because the area that you have to cover with just bazooka alone is quite a bit. And you have to go out of your way to think about when you're using, you know, things like Monkey Business or Rolling Rainbow, or sorry, not Rolling Rainbow, Pool Maker to actually replace your deployables. So the rotation in paper or on paper is fairly easy, but executing it is really hard. So Monkeys top left, Anchor in the top middle, Fountain at the middle right, because it actually can cover the top right from the middle. And then you rope lift from the bottom left to cover the middle left and the bottom left, and then you move to the bottom right and clear that yourself as well. This map is very large with a lot of platforms, so you're gonna have to be tacking a lot. So this is probably a map that will benefit from 2 or 0 attack speed. Considering that I was on 2 attack speed, it felt like I was missing quite a bit of the rotations. But this map can definitely see 18,000 kills an hour. In the BA, I was only getting around 16,000, which is kind of underwhelming, but this map definitely is great. Definitely use this map if you're thinking about Labyrinth, especially if there's burning here, which I doubt there will be because a lot of characters can actually use this map. So the first runner-up, the first man on the bench, is Labyrinth of Suffering Core 2, where you'll be fighting Despairing Wings and Despairing Blades. They both have the same stats. They're both level 257. They both have 840 million HP, and they both give roughly 1.5 million XP. Now, this map is a lot lazier than Labyrinth of Suffering Core 4. Basically, just your deployables along the top. I'm pretty sure you can cheese Urda Fountain in this map. You put it somewhere along the middle. I don't quite remember. I'll let the video do the talking for this one. I honestly forgot the rotation for this, but mashing Poolmaker and Monkey Business off cooldown in this map is actually really good. Because a lot of the platforms in this map like kind of like intertwine with each other. It's really weird. But yeah, also bullets along the middle, going from left to right or right to left, depending on how you set up your map. And then you just bazooka along the bottom, and you should be able to cover the bottom 2 layers. But yeah, Poolmaker and Monkey Business are definitely very, very abusable in this map. This map does get slightly less kill speed than the ladder. The max you can probably see here is 17,000, which is still very respectable, right? If you are, you know, experiencing the effects of base XP boost, given that you're level 256, or if this map has really high burning 9, burning 10, definitely take this map over Labyrinth of Suffering Core 4, because this map is also still pretty good. Now, another map that I think actually remains in the meta even after the totem changes is Labyrinth of Suffering Deep Core 1, where you'll fight Silent Watchmen and Silent Assassins. They're both level 259. They have roughly 870 million HP, and they both give roughly 1.54 million XP. This map still is pretty good. You probably can see around 17 to 18,000 kills an hour, given that you rotate this map well. And the reason why it stays in the meta is because the map is actually really weird, which is why its base spawn is really high still. And this map was good on Totem because you could cover a vast majority of the map, even without deployables, so your kill speed would just be high regardless. But yeah, this map is pretty good. The rotation, not so good though. The rotation is quite hard. Monkeys at the top right. Urda Fountain in the middle left to cover 2, I think maybe even 3 platforms. And then you can also put Anchor on the top left if you will. But essentially you just want your bullets going down the middle, and your deployables covering the top as you bazooka along the bottom. I'll let the video do the talking. It's kind of hard to explain for this map, considering that there's like 6 different layers of this map and there's like 18 different platforms, so I don't know how to describe it. I can't describe it with middles, centers, and rights. So yeah, this map is definitely kind of hard to one-shot in because of the high arcane force requirement and the high level mobs, but it's definitely a good map to use if you're approaching 260 because of the base XP. So for all of my lazy people in Labyrinth, don't worry, I got you. Labyrinth of Suffering Deep Core 5, where you'll be fighting Despairing Prisoners. They have the exact same stats as the mobs beforehand, so I'm not going to say all the numbers again, I'll just put it up. This map is really, really lazy because Fountain can pretty much cover either the top left or the top right, and that's why this map is very lazy. So Fountain top left, Monkeys top right, Anchor under it, Bullet along the top middle, and you just bazooka along the bottom. This map is fairly straightforward. This is like a burning stage option. Not really a base XP option because they share the same level, but if this map does have higher burning, definitely consider this map. You can still get around 16,000 kills, which is acceptable, I would say. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Labyrinth. We're going to move on to Limina, even though I think Limina is very, very questionable nowadays. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Now, it's really hard for me to recommend Limina because Cernium exists now. So I'm only going to recommend the augmented maps in Limina just because the base XP boost in these maps is significantly higher than the latter. So the first map in question is World Sorrow Midpoint 4, where you'll be fighting powerful Ascendions. They're level 262. They have roughly 1.8 billion HP, and they give roughly 2 million XP. Now, these mobs are much more powerful than what was beforehand. But if you are strong, these maps are pretty good, and they are extremely lazy. Because these mobs are super long, super tall, super handsome, not really, but it makes it super easy to mob in these maps. So Fountain goes to the top left in this map. Anchor goes to the right of the Fountain, and that should cover 2 platforms. And then you want to put Monkey Militia 2 platforms below where the Anchor is. And then you should be able to cover the rest with just Bazooka. If you do want to throw Bullet Bills because you don't feel like throwing out extra bazookas for the next rotation, that is also acceptable. Once again, the rotation always continues as it is. Monkey Business or Poolmaker to actually go and replace deployables as you move up the stack. One thing that's actually really weird about this map is that no mobs spawn on the floor. So the little sandwiches of platforms is only where the mobs will spawn. It's kind of weird, but it's good because that means that there's less to cover. But there's definitely more space on this map to fit more mobs. And that's why I think the kill speed in this map is actually quite limited. I only see a max of like 16,000. But if you can kill in this map, and if you are strong enough, this map will give you a crazy amount of XP to 260. And the only alternative to this map, the bigger brother to this map, the only other map that I could suggest in Limina for Cannoneer is End of the World 1-7, where you'll be fighting powerful 4 Baryons. They are level 263. They have roughly 1.8 billion HP as well, and they give roughly 2 million XP as well. It's just a different layout for those who are looking for a different, change of pace, if you will. But this map is really good. You can abuse Fountain really hard in this map. So Fountain goes in the top right. You need to make sure that you're placing it on the middle platform or it won't hit all 3 in that top right segment. You can also use Urda Fountain as you slide off that middle platform for it to hit the greatest amount of mobs possible. And then, you just monkey top left, anchor under it, and bazooka along the bottom. And that is your entire rotation. This map is a lot more condensed, so I think this map gets a lot more consistent kill speeds in comparison to the Sorrow Midpoint 4. But I think Sorrow has a slightly higher maximum. So if you want a lazier rotation, 1-7 is better. If you want a higher kill speed, Sorrow's Midpoint 4 is actually better. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Limina. Limina is kind of uninteresting nowadays because it gets completely power crept by Cernium, especially when you do build up the Sacred Power to actually farm there. So, welcome to the Grandest Plus regions, and congratulations for making it here. This is where Nexon actually expects you to be very, very strong. For most players, I would suggest to have at least 50 Sacred Force. If you don't, and if you are extremely strong, then you can clear beforehand, but it's going to be very, very difficult. So the first map, and I think undoubtedly the best map for Cernium, is Eastern City Ramparts 3, where you'll be fighting Fire Spirits. They're level 262. They have roughly 5.4 billion HP, and they give roughly 4 million XP. Now, the reason why this map is good, just like a lot of the maps in this video, is because Urda Fountain is not fair as an ability. So essentially you can throw Urda Fountain on the middle left, and it'll clear the platform above it, and the platform below it, because Fire Spirits, like Ascendions, are very, very long. They are tall. And then essentially you throw your monkeys on the left side of the top middle platform, and then anchor to the right of it, so that the entire top side is covered. Bullets along the middle, and then you just bazooka along the bottom. Now, in order to get the best kill speeds in this map, you'll have to be A, very strong, and B, very sweaty. This map is very, very difficult to actually rotate properly because it's just ginormous. Like, it's huge. So you definitely need to focus if you want to produce the highest rates in this map but it's definitely a very, very good map. Undoubtedly, I think the best map in Cernium for Cannoneer. So for the final two regions, Burning Cernium and Hotel Orcus, I will also split the sub-regions for these maps, the ones that I think are actually worth your time. So starting in Burning Cernium, the best map is the Western City Ramparts in Battle 2. Quite a mouthful, if you will, where you'll fight Flora foot soldiers. They are level 265. They have roughly 7.4 billion HP, and they give roughly 4.7 million XP. Once again, I only recommend this for strong players at level 265, because not only do you need 70 Sacred Force, just heaps and heaps of Sacred Force, but they have a lot of health. The health from the previous mobs increased by at least 50%, which is quite a bit, but the base XP increases by almost 20%. And assuming that you do have base XP boosts against these mobs, you make a ridiculous amount of XP. But yeah, this map's rotation is fairly straightforward. Monkeys at the top platform, Urda Fountain in the middle left, Bullet along the bottom, and Rope Lift the middle right. You can also inverse this. So the only other reasonable alternative to the other map in Burnium is the Eastern City Ramparts in Battle 3, where you'll fight Flora Assassins. They are level 266. They have roughly 7.5 billion HP, and they give roughly 4.7 million XP. Now, this map is very, very lazy in comparison to the other one. So pretty much the entire right side of the map is cleared by deployables. So Monkey goes top right, Urda Fountain under it, and then Anchor under that. And then essentially what you want to do is you want to Rope Lift on the left while looking left, just down jump and bazooka, and then just make sure that a bullet bill is passing through the two middle platforms. Now, it's at this point in time where my damage actually starts to fall off. And you'll notice that my Anchor struggles to one-shot, especially considering that I have the legacy Cannoneer nodes, if you will, where Anchor was much worse before. So a lot of people opted to go Nautilus Strike. But you'll notice that my kill speed is still fairly high. I can still produce over 15,000 kills in this map. But at its peak potential, you could probably see upwards of like 16,000, maybe 17,000 max, which is still really good for off totem. And considering how lazy it is, as you're down jumping from the left side, there's actually a portal near you so that you can just go straight to the top right and replace your monkeys. It's super, super lazy. And it just follows all of the other rotations in just a much more simplistic fashion. I definitely recommend this map until Hotel Orcus. This map is actually great, assuming that you actually do have the Sacred Force. Even after Hotel Orcus, this map still is pretty good, assuming that you do lose the base XP boost from the Sandblade Marauders or the Iron Shot Desperados. So, welcome to the final region of the game, Hotel Orcus. The mobs in this region are ridiculously tanky because of the Sacred Force requirements for these maps. Definitely don't expect to one-shot. That's why I still think a lot of the times Burning Cernium is still very viable. But if you can one-shot here, and if your summons do a lot of damage, yes, I just said that. The first recommendation for a map that I have is Outlaw Infested Wastes 4, where you'll be fighting Iron Shot Desperados. They are level 270, they have roughly 8.7 billion HP, and they give roughly 5.2 million XP. Now, the rotation on this map is very difficult, but just the sheer amount of mobs just carries this map. It's so crazy. You just put Fountain on the left, monkeys at the top middle platform, and then Anchor at the top right, and Bullet straight down the middle, and Bazooka along the bottom. And just pray that everything else dies to deployables, or summons like Poolmaker and Monkey Business. there's not much to say about this map. You can see in here, or in the battle analysis, I actually can reach 15,000 kills an hour, but this is where my kill speed really starts to drop off. A lot of my deployables just aren't even killing the mobs in question. So with a kill speed of 15,000, considering that my mobs are lacking in terms of what they are killing around them, is very impressive. You could probably see a max of 18 or even 19,000 kills an hour here off totem. So this is probably the best map in Hotel Arcus in terms of just sheer kill speed, because of just the amount of mobs that exist on this map. If you want a lazier and more consistent rotation to the Iron Shot Desperados, then going to the Outlaw Infested Wastes 2 is a good option, where you'll fight Sandblade Marauders. They have the exact same stats as the Desperados, so we'll just put it at the top right there. The map rotation is obviously a lot easier. So you put monkeys at the top, Bullet Bill along the middle to the right, and you're gonna want to have rope lift for this map. So rope lifting along the middle, looking left, and then clearing the bottom as you jump down. This rotation, fairly simple. It's a matter of just making sure that everything is covered. Make sure that you have nuke at the bottom right if you're struggling to keep the rotation together, and make sure you summon any of your summons if you're struggling to clear a portion of the map, for example. There's not much to say about this map. The max you'll see is 15,000 kills an hour, and it probably won't go much higher than that. But once again, a lot of the kills come from your cannon rather than your summons, so this map is easier to achieve the max, but its max is a lot less than the previous map. So, if I were to be completely honest, I think the drive-in theater maps are just garbage. And considering the very high Sacred Force requirement, you might as well go to the train with no destination. When you are hitting those levels of Sacred Power. So that leads us to our final destination, ironically enough, in this train. The train with no destination 1. You're going to be fighting Conductor Bots. They're level 273. They have roughly 11 billion HP. Each one of these mobs has more health than Hard Von Leon, or maybe even normal Arcarium, so just take that in for a second. And these mobs give 5.8 million XP, so quite a ridiculous amount. The rotation here is fairly simple. It's a very compact map, pretty standard for Cannoneer. Monkeys along the top. Urda Fountain at the middle left, because it can 2-plat here. Bullet Bill along the middle, and then just Bazooka along the bottom. It's a fairly standard rotation, and this map just got recently buffed. So you can actually expect kill speeds around 15,000 or even over 15,000 kills an hour. But these mobs are just so unbelievably tanky that even at my strength, it's hard for me to even just one-shot them. Like you can tell, I had Monster Park Green and Red Potion with Guild Buff, all of my presets on for, fighting mobs, and mostly in my damage gear, and I was struggling to one-shot these guys. So even though my kill speed in this battle analysis was only 12,000 an hour, with the highest potential, assuming that your summons aren't gimped, this map has a very high kill speed. So the only other real alternative in the train maps, at least for Cannoneer with a reasonable amount of effort, is the train with no destination 3. You're fighting the exact same mobs, and I'm just gonna let the rotation speak for itself, because there's like 80,000 platforms scattered across this map, but it's possible with Cannoneer's abilities. Yeah, this has a higher potential, but you need to be much stronger to make this map work. This is like a post-liberated going for 285, 290 kind of map. Like this is the end game map, if you will, at least for now, before Odium comes out soon, TM. But yeah, this map is like like the big experiments gone wrong, but for Hotel Arcus. Assuming that you can actually delete this entire map, you could probably see 18 or even 19,000 kills an hour here. It's not an easy feat, and rightfully so. But if you can, you probably make some of the best EXP rates in the game over here, especially as an Explorer Pirate. So, yeah, that'll be it. So this extremely long list of information finally reaches its conclusion. Hopefully this does reach the people who need it the most. Once again, as a self-acclaimed, top Cannoneer in Reboot, or one of the top Cannoneers in Reboot, I wanted to go out of my way to help a lot of the people who are progressing up to Hotel Arcus, or people who are progressing to, different stages of the game. And this was just to help give people an idea of what maps to go to, and just how to think outside the box in terms of, Cannoneer's different rotations, and how to use their specific abilities in specific situations where, specific abilities can 2-plat on some maps depending on hitboxes of mobs or platform arrangements. Because Cannoneer is a very interesting class with all sorts of hitboxes, and if you use its tools effectively, it can be one of the best mobbers in Reboot. But yeah, once again, if you guys do have any other suggestions for maps, please feel free to comment them. I will pin whatever comment or whatever discoveries you guys have for good rotations or good kill speeds that are produced by Cannoneer that weren't listed here. Assuming off totem, this is all off totem, so make sure if you're commenting, comment off totem rates. But yeah, that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally consume your mesos faster than Star Forcing does. Thanks.